Hi everyone, Jade from Career Journey Professional. Today we're going to talk about the topic about being authentic. Before I say about that, for me personally, because I am really into personal development, and while working with all these clients, I realized that, at least I believe, a lot of us, our journey coming into this earth, coming into this lifetime, is to find who we truly are, to find our purpose, to know our value, and then in real life, of course, on top of not harming anyone, try to be the true us, try to live out and actualize who we truly are. What do we stand for? What do we care? And then try to help community in a way that's aligned with who we are. So we're going to talk about the topic of how to be authentic and confident in work. Of course, that can be reflected in many areas in life and work. Especially at work, it could be how you talk to your subordinates when you're a leader. It could be how you are negotiating with other clients or other people. It could be how you're talking to your boss, reporting to the managers, in many areas. But today we're going to talk about how to be authentic and confident in interview. Now, interview, it's a place that we tend to be nervous because you feel like you're assessed. So a lot of people are treating it like a test. In a way it is, but also it's not. I would invite you to think of it. That's the best analogy I really like. It's actually really similar at work. So I invite my clients to think about it like dating, first time dating, right? So you will be nervous for sure, like first time dating. But it's mutual. It's a mutual selection. You're seeing if the other party is the right fit for you. They are also seeing if you're a right fit for them. And think about it in that way. There's nothing to lose. What do I mean? I mean, of course, sometimes you're under financial pressure. You really want to get that job. But ultimately, if they decide that you're not a right fit, be it cultural-wise, be it skill-wise or experience-wise, believe them. Believe they make the right choice. Because if they think you're not the right fit, but you still joined and they don't really like you that much, it's not going to be a very pleasant journey. So trust that. You really have nothing to lose. You don't need 100 jobs, right? You don't, like, when you have that much it's paying. And just like guys, you don't need 100 partner. You just need the one that suits you, right? Okay, so I just want to set the tone for going into interview rooms. So in that way, you don't need to feel that bad and you don't need to be that nervous. What's yours is going to be yours. What's right for you, I mean. So 3 tips that we can actually use in walking into the interview rooms that really worked for my clients, especially for those introverted people who don't think they are good at expressing themselves, or there are people who have this illusion that you just have to be really loud and very talkative. Not necessarily. So my first point is actually your behavior, your manner, or how you can present yourself, apart from actually answering the questions. I mean, of course, you need to be prepared before you walk into an interview room. That's one of the key things. But the first one is, how are you gonna behave yourself when you walk into the interview room? That's apart from answering the questions, which is very important as well. So interviewers will always think about this, and you should think about this as well. What is it like to work with you? It's an underlying question they will be thinking about, and you would probably think about that too. What is it like to work in this office, this manager, this group of people, this team? So you want to pose yourself in a way that if you're happy to work with them, what will you behave like? So think about if they are the people interviewing you, you are your favorite manager, are your favorite ex-colleague, are your favorite people that you work with from your team. What will you behave like, right? You will probably smile a lot more. You will be happy, you'll be positive, you're happy to share, and you really listen, actively listen. Because if it's someone you like when they're talking, you will just truly try to understand what they're trying to say, right? So you will clarify the things that they're saying, and you lean forward, like your body will lean forward as well, because you're just energetically prone to them. And you care. So you're using a friendly tone, you show you're enthusiastic. Of course, you still say about things that you're an expert in the area, but when you're explaining, you probably sound more confident and friendly and approachable as well. And a slightly strategic way to approach this, if you can't really set yourself into that area, is mirroring body language and actual verbal language as well. So what do I mean? This is something that you can search online. Just search mirror body language. You'll find a lot of psychologists talking about this. It's basically mirroring what the other persons are doing on a smaller scale. Say if they're crossing their legs on right leg on top of their left, try to do the same. If they're touching their chin, you can touch your chin when you're doing, but obviously not too obvious, like they're playing with their hair, you're playing with your hair in the middle of your speech. That's definitely not good. Another easier version is mirroring their actual verbal language. So if they say client facing rather than customer facing, you probably want to say client facing. So if they said they refer to things like if this is an operation system rather than an operation process, then again use operation system. In that way that they will feel like you understand them and you're on the same page with them. That's tip number 1. And tip number 2, again, this goes to another underlying questions that interviewers are always thinking about, is whether you can learn their system, whether you can adapt to their culture, their team, their way of working. So they will ask all kinds of questions, and then as interviewee, there will always be scenarios or questions that you are unprepared or you're not fully prepared. And of course, there are many different tactics to approach that. But one way to show that you are who you are, you're authentic, you're true, is to admit that they are part of the question you haven't really understand or you really haven't thought about it, but you're happy to think aloud now to answer their question. So you're telling them that you're admitting that you're not perfect, you're not fully prepared, we're all human, and but you're honest and you admit that. And also the second part is following that you ask questions for things that you didn't really fully understand their questions, and you just jump into trying to answer in the middle of your conversation. You'll be like, you don't know what you're talking about. We have all been there, and the other party can see that. However, if you can stop and ask them like, can you clarify, or my understanding of your question is this, is that right? Ask for clarification, ask questions, ask for more information. It's something that interviewers really like to do. Of course, if it's something you do understand, don't pretend that you don't. But if it's something you genuinely don't really get it, then say that. And again, this is a great way to approach things that you haven't prepared, questions you haven't prepared, or it's just a way of angle of looking at the questions. And again, this shows initiative of asking questions, of you're willing to learn, you're willing to listen on the spot, you're happy to improvise. And again, another way, a more tactical way to do that, to show that you can learn and you can adapt, is at the end, which a lot of people do generally ask anyways, what is the training, the support, the education that's provided ongoing for your role if you join that company? Again, you asking that is showing that you are willing to learn, you're keen to learn. You do want to find out how to learn more about the process, their product, their team, and work better for their company. Great, that's tip number 2, that you can be true. It's okay to admit things that you don't know. Of course, if it's fundamental things, that's probably not that good. You should do your homework before. Which brings me to the third point. Take initiative. You can be active in your interview. You are being interviewed, that's true, but you can take some control as well. How do I mean by that? And this comes back to what I just said. You have to do your homework. You need to know the basic stuff. What does the company do? What does the team do? What are the possible challenges they are facing? What is the history? Where do they come from? What's the founder's view of things, value of things? What's their strengths and what's their weaknesses? What could be the potential competitors of that company? These are fundamental homework that you should do before you walk into the interview room. Anyways, some of my clients, before they come to me for interview training, that's something they probably didn't prepare that well. And so when you have those kind of knowledge, it's easy for you to have a dynamic conversation, or you to put more questions into that conversation as well. And again here, I want to stress that, again, it goes back to being authentic. Practice, it's necessary. It's a lot of people just write down some points they want to talk about, and they just imagine when they walk into that interview room, what they write down as as little points will automatically turn into a perfect speech. No, there's a process. You do have to practice. However, there's the danger of over prepare as well. There are people who just walked in and it's over, like it's scripted. Their speech is scripted. People can see that. So you want to find the fine line. Just my suggestion is write down your points. Every time you explain your points, it's gonna be different. That's all right, as long as you're delivering the key information. Cool. And again, it goes back to there are things that you haven't prepared, it's okay to improvise. It's okay to ask for, can I think about it and answer it? Or it's okay that saying that I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm happy to think out loud. And is that okay? Or can I use what I understand as what I did before as example cases to illustrate what you're doing? Great. 3 ways. I'll just quickly summarize it. Treat them as a friend. Treat them as someone who it is a test in a way, but it's also a mutual selection process. Treat them as your most favorite people, and behave in that manner. Of course, be professional. For things that you really don't know, you're not so sure, clarify that and admit that. Be keen to ask questions, be keen to ask for information, really care about the other people, and be active, take initiatives in interview as well. That's all that I want to share. And if you do have concerns about that, or if you want to improve your interview presentation of yourself to better show who you are, to really present your unique blend of your talent, your experience, and who you are, join our courses. And otherwise, I wish you the best and see you next video. Bye.